The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
We're breaking down the latest Jet news, including a former Jet head coach getting another gig. And last night's national title game, a future Jet was likely on the field. Robby Sabo joins us. Let's hit it and get it started.
I let the organization down, and I let the players down, and that burns me. It really does. This season's on me, and we're going to work our ass off to get this shit exactly where it needs to be.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. It is raffle day, so at the end of the show, we raffle away 3 signed items: a Garrett Wilson signed helmet, a Darrelle Revis signed helmet, and a Chad Pennington signed helmet. If you want to enter the raffle, this is your last show to do it. Enter for your chance to win, and we will put you in. Plus, next week's top prize, I'll give you a spoiler. It's a Curtis Martin helmet. So 2-for-1 special. You enter the raffle during this show, you'll be entered in next week's weekly raffle for the top prize of a signed Curtis Martin helmet. With that, we say hello to our guy, the co-founder of JetX, JetsXFactor.com, Robby Sabo. Mr. Sabo, how we feeling? Robert Saleh is employed. Indiana and Fernando Mendoza are national champions. The Jets don't have a DC and still have Charles London. What's going on?
You know, the therapy, brother. I'm counting on the Asmaniacs to not only, keep me up to date in Jets land a little bit. I've been lost in the Nick sauce, and you don't get it, make no mistake, it's sauce the last 2 weeks. So that's 1. 2, Jets fans, Asmaniacs, I need a little therapy. 3, good for Indiana, dude. That type of story, Signetti, the coaching. I mean, yes, today the modern college football coach and program is a little different. Not a little different, crazy different. You could do so many different things with the transfer portal, NIL, but still, that is an unbelievable job by him. Indiana Hoosiers, it's a basketball state. Hoosiers, one of probably the greatest sports movie of all time, I would say. It reflects that small town feel in my head that may or may not be true. They love their football too, no doubt, but it's a basketball school through and through. Bobby Knight throwing the chair on the field, on the court. So good for them. Good for Mendoza. Good for all those guys. I love it. Shanahan too deserves a lot of respect. And then Saleh. Hey, good for Saleh. I'd be hesitant if I were Tennessee because of the quarterback situation, but I think it'll come down to this. Who is his OC? Does he find a stud OC? And if he does, he'll have a shot.
We have a lot to talk about. You bring up the national title game. I mean, I think the job that Curt Signetti did is the greatest coaching job we might ever see. I mean, Indiana was a doormat of a program. A good year for Indiana was 8-5. If you look at their history, he shows up. He loses only 2 games his entire first year and then goes perfect 16-0. In his second year, has a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback who's probably going to be the first pick in the draft in all likelihood. And you see it on the screen. The biggest preseason long shots to win a national title. It's not even close. If you go back to 2001, Indiana was 101 before the year even began. Just unbelievable. Great coaching and just an unbelievable sports story. I'll tell you what, I don't care what sport. I'd want my team to hire Curt Signetti as their head coach.
Yeah, dude, I sent you that video last week, and guys, bear with me. I'm not feeling too great right now, so head is killing me. But I sent you that video. I forgot who it was. There were wild accusations about Signetti is cheating, and the reason why it came at that they hacked into the cloud, and that's why they're so dominant. And the reason that is a thing is because when you look at the tape, it's so unbelievably good. They play tendencies almost perfectly. It's insane. So I think it's unfounded, obviously, the cheating accusations, but it's just testament to him, how ridiculous it's been. And I see someone in the chat, Signetti to the NFL. When people brought up Freeman, Notre Dame's head coach, and I'm a Notre Dame fan traditionally since 93, 94, I would always say Freeman's not an NFL coach. He's more suited for program building at the college level, but Signetti, completely different. I think he'd be tremendous at the NFL level because everything you see on tape is tendency built. And that's what it is. That's what the NFL is.
Unbelievable. Congrats to Indiana. And hey, there were some positives for the New York Jets last night. Of course, we all want Fernando Mendoza. That's not going to happen. You got Tom Brady and Mark Davis and the entire Raiders brass on the field last night.
I saw Mark Davis's haircut is a little changed. It shocked me, actually.
It's still weird.
It's still weird, no question. But within the scope of weird, he's going for something.
I'll tell you what, we might not be able to get Mendoza, but Ruben Bane Jr., hell of a performance last night, dominant at times, affecting the line of scrimmage throughout the game. I don't want to hear about his arm length when we have that arm length debate in a couple months. I mean, this guy last night on the biggest stage,
look at that image.
Dominating. There's something to be said for that, for raising your game in the biggest moments. He looked great. Mesidor, the other pass rusher who's going in round one, probably towards the end of the first round, he had a really good game. Miami's defense gave him a shot. Just wasn't enough. That block punt that happened on special teams proved to be a huge, huge difference in the game. But for Jet fans who like Ruben Bane, you saw him up close last night. He was fantastic. That's a guy that definitely is in play at number 2 for the Jets.
It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be a litmus test for Glenn with this decision with Bane or Reese, the Ohio State kid, because they're both defenders. They're both front 7 guys, but they're very different. Bane, what is he, like 270, 275? He's a bigger, not overly big, but he's a bigger type edge, not the speediest guy. His 40 time is, I forget what I saw, 4.7 or something in that range. Not a crazy speedy guy. So he's a bigger edge, but he's much too small to play on the inside. Yet you could put him on the inside and sub-package passing downs. I think that's where his bread and butter might wind up being. Interior defensive line on passing downs. So is he fast enough and quick enough to play in space at the NFL level? I think most people say yes, but I think you have to at least ask yourself the question. And on the other side of the token, Reese he is the exact opposite. He can play edge. He's speedier. He's lighter. He can play more in space, and he can play the second level. So what does Glenn want? The flexibility or that bigger guy on the edge? That's going to be really interesting this offseason.
What does Glenn want? I mean, we don't even know who his defensive coordinator is for what potential defensive scheme they could be running. So that's going to be a very telling thing to follow. We'll have an update on the Jets DC search in just a bit. Rich Samini's got some new reporting on the DC search, which we'll get into. But I brought up Saleh. You alluded to it. Let's discuss that. Now, let me say this. I do think there is a chance Robert Saleh learned a lot from his first time as a head coach and his Jets tenure and could be a lot better, right? I do think there's a path to it. He's got the quarterback in Cam Ward. The OC hire, as you brought up, is going to be super important.
Critical.
But let me say this, all right? The way that Saleh is being covered, right? His PR team, all his friends in the media, AKA, this is a disgrace. I mean, you would think the Titans just hired Vince Lombardi the way it's being covered. Albert Breer, I mean, it just shameless. Comparing the hire of Saleh to Mike Vrabel going to the Patriots, saying that Tennessee was looking for a leader of men, conveniently leaving out the fact that Mike Vrabel was the Titans head coach and they never should have fired him. And they hired Robert Saleh, and you want to compare him to Mike Vrabel? Give me a break, man.
I didn't see that. Who said it? Who was it again?
Breer. Just go look. You could just see all the people in the media talking about how great of a hire this is. And Saleh is a leader of men. Ian Rappaport being like, Saleh getting a second chance, but this time with a quarterback, pretending like he had nothing to do with the Zach Wilson pick. I don't believe that he didn't want him, or pretending like he had nothing to do with the atrocious hires on the offensive side of the ball. Nate Hackett, for example. Again, it wasn't all Saleh, and Saleh at times certainly proved he could coach defense, and I do think he can learn from what happened in New York, and I'm sure being in a smaller media market will be a plus for him. I'm not trying to dunk on the guy because I do think he deserves a second chance. Fine, so be it. But it really is annoying that it's just, it was just a Jets being a joke, and Saleh is actually this great coach, and now we're about to see it. Like, you would think, again, the Titans hired Vince Lombardi the way this is being covered.
Listen, I won't get philosophical on everyone, but let's just consider this with the Saleh thing. What technology has done, digital media, digital technology has given everyone a voice. So has made access easier for everybody. So a lot of this stuff is just towing the company line. Anytime someone gets hired, this is what you have to say initially. And it really diminishes independent thinking. So I think keeping that in mind, you breathe easier, understanding how, certain things are applauded and no one's independently thinking. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, I feel good for him. I think he deserves another chance, but we're not looking at Vince Lombardi. Let's calm down.
I mean, again, it's a little much. And what helps Saleh is the fact that the Jets were 2-3 when they fired him, and then they were a total joke. And Saleh could thank Woody Johnson, and he could thank Aaron Glenn, because Glenn was so much worse than Saleh ever was, with basically the same roster, that Saleh's basically getting a pass for being 20-36 as a head coach.
Yeah, dude, Saleh, we see he's a good defensive coordinator in the modern era. With the Niners, he did a great job this year and in the playoffs and down the stretch. But when he was head coach, his mindset was wrong. It was exactly wrong. It was a race to 20 or whatever the hell he said, whatever number it was. That's not what helps you win in today's league. So, you either get it or you don't. And will he learn from that? I think a large part of it goes to who he hires as OC. And if it is McDaniel, someone like that, maybe he could impart that wisdom, that modern wisdom on him. We'll see.
So shameless by some people.
Who's this PR? Who's this PR leader? Joe B these days?
Benigno turned on Saleh because Joe's a real fan. Just type in Robert Saleh on X and you'll see it. I mean, the people carrying the water for this guy, it really is unbelievable. Bino with our first super chat. Jacob and Sabo, hold the rope. Don't let go, Bino.
Just don't let go of the rope.
Don't let go. Robbie, what was your reaction to the Bills firing McDermott? That means we have 10 head coach openings during this cycle, which is tied for the most all time. But hey, the New York Jets, they looked at it like this. When you have a chance to retain the worst head coach in football, you just got to do it.
I think McDermott is a hell of a coach. I really do. I don't care. Separate what he does as a coach from how you feel about him personally. That's what I would say. He's a hell of a coach. Put on the tape from week 2, Jets Bills. It was the most unbelievable ass whipping in terms of mental X's and O's I've ever seen in my life. The equivalent of going into midfield and getting swiped, not just pants, but underwear, in whole, the belt, everything. And he does it defensively. Like Joe Brady, I love Joe Brady as a play caller. He has help with Josh Allen, even though, man, Josh Allen, he left some plays on the field that he normally makes. And that was the biggest difference in not beating Denver. And oh my God, Jake, how do you feel about your team, the Pats, having a cakewalk to the Super Bowl? This has to be the easiest path ever, right?
Ever. Known playoff choker Justin Herbert and a no offensive line around him. CJ Stroud, who played like the love child.
Oh my God.
Of Justin Fields and Zach Wilson.
How does D'Amico not make a change? How?
Insane.
Being a slave to the modern era, and it kind of goes philosophically in a philosophy type way with the, what I said before. It's like head coaches have this in their brain. Glenn had it this year with Fields when he got mad at Costello for asking the question, did you think about bench them? You're allowed to bench guys. Like it doesn't mean their career's over. Right. They can come back. Back in the day, dude, Jets fans who are old enough, and not me, I was too young for this, I promise. Believe me. In 86, Pat Ryan came in for Kenny O'Brien over and over and over and over again. Like it happens frequently. You should do that. It's ridiculous that he didn't. So yeah, the Pats really fortunate.
Joke. Absolute joke. Tom Roseman is in the Asmaniac raffle. First to enter today. Thank you, Tom. Let's get some memberships flowing here. We want to get as many channel members in this community as possible. Make sure you check out the most recent members only video, the monthly rankings for the month of December. 53 minutes of Asmaniac hilarity for those who haven't seen it. Chad Pennington sign helmet, Darrell Rivas sign helmet, and G5 Garrett Wilson sign helmet are the prizes. We raffle away all three of those items at the end of the show. Comments, questions, super chats, they cut the line. I'm going to play for you an update on the Jets defensive coordinator search, Robbie. This was Rich Cimini reporting on his social accounts the latest in Aaron Glenn's search for a DC.
Glenn is casting a wide net in the search for his next defensive coordinator. He talked to eight candidates during the first round of interviews, all done virtually. The big names are Wink Martindale and Jim Leonard. I would say Martindale's probably the favorite at this point. He is by far the most experienced of all the candidates. The Jets actually spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. If they want Leonard, they're going to have to wait because the Broncos are playing Sunday in the AFC Championship game. The Cowboys also interested in Leonard. If you're looking for a sleeper, there's Jim O'Neill, the safeties coach in Detroit. He and Glenn work together in Detroit. But again, at this point, and it's still early, I'd say the favorite is Wink Martindale.
The favorite is Wink Martindale. Again, this would be, to me, a very uninspiring hire. Look at his recent track record. It's not very good. He feels outdated. It feels like more of the same, like a Steve Wilkes type of hire, like the white Steve Wilkes. Again, I will give Wink a chance if they hire him. I have no choice as a Jet fan, but I'd rather the Jets take a chance on a guy none of us have heard of and hope we found the next Chris Banjo than a retread in Wink Martindale. I don't think Glenn can save his job with Wink. So maybe if you're rooting for Glenn just to get fired, okay, hire Wink and, the march for Arch will really be on. But if you actually want to have some hope like I do as a Jet fan, I don't think Wink Martindale is going to solve all the Jets' defensive problems.
Listen, Wink is he's a tremendous defensive football mind. Make no mistake, tremendous. The question you have is, all coaches have conviction, but what level of conviction does he have right now in terms of what he believes defense should be? Because while he'll always have a great defensive mind, some of it doesn't fit today's league. When you watch Denver's defense, and that's just not Leonard. Leonard's the defensive pass game coordinator, but it's Vance Joseph mainly. You see a lot of stuff that they do that is graciously accepting of the modern game. A lot of off coverage, a lot of split field, a lot of, it's 3rd and 9. We're going to invite you to run it between the tackles. We're going to do things to make you crazy and not just be stubborn and play old school principles that were always tried and tested up until 2012, 2014, 2015, whatever. So that's the concern I would have with Wink. I think the whole mix with Glenn, fit with Glenn thing, I think is overrated. If Glenn made it sound like it was all Wilkes this past year, I don't truly believe that because Glenn is picking the personnel as well. So he's picking it in terms of what he feels he wants on defense. So it's not all Wilkes. It's just very confusing to me. I think the main thing with this DC that they need to get right is hire a guy who understands the landscape the best. And from all the tape I've been watching, it's Leonard by far.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Let me give some love to the Jet Stream. He is the first to enter the Asmaniac raffle on the show with a 5 spot. Again, this is a great opportunity to get in for your chance to win a signed Garrett helmet, signed Rivas helmet, signed Pennington helmet. He gifted 5 gifted memberships. Hit it, Fireman Ed. Jetstream in the house. Zach Tendler in the raffle for 1 as well. Thank you very much, Zach. Of the other candidates, were any of the names very intriguing to you? I mean, Jim Leonard, I think, is the one the fans want. He's also a guy that's probably going to have other opportunities, so I'd be surprised if Jim Leonard was actually going to be the Jets DC. But of the names, right, we know they completed 8 interviews in the first round, and then yesterday, Albert Breer, Robert Saleh's, personal PR guy, seemingly, Albert Breer reported that the Jets spoke with Chris Harris again, which gives indication that he's one of the finalists because he got a second interview. Yeah. So Chris Harris, who was the DB coach, the DBs for the Jets, I don't know if you're aware of this, had 0 interceptions over 17 games. He's one of the finalists.
Let me write
and
that
he,
down.
of course,
Hold on.
yeah, he was the interim DC as well once Wilkes was fired. He's one of the known finalists because according to Breer, yesterday we got word that he interviewed. So if this is to be true, feels like one of the finalists is Wink, one of the finalists is Chris Harris, and I guess Jim Leonard's the biggest name, but you can't officially hire him till Denver is eliminated. So your thoughts on that?
It's very listen. And I saw Dave Briga. If I made it sound like Wink can't adjust and he has no idea what's happening in today's football, that's not the case. He's a great defensive mind. It's only that you have to ask yourself. I'm trying to put myself in the Jets' shoes, Aaron Glenn's shoes. You have to ask yourself the question: what level of conviction does he have, and how willing is he to adjust? That's the question you have to ask. I'm not saying he can't. With all these guys, it's very difficult to know how they're going to be as play callers, because guess what? There's not a body of work. Like even Leonard in Denver, that's Vance Joseph's defense. So when I'm watching the Denver tape, I'm just really looking for certain pass coverage concepts. And obviously they have Surtain, so that kind of muddies the water a little bit, but I don't know. O'Neal kind of intrigues me. I guess Banda to some degree, Durante Jones to some degree. Because those 3 guys, I do see modern stuff, and that's mainly what I'm looking for.
Comments, questions, super chats. They will cut the line. Appreciate everyone being tuned in here as we talk with our guy.
And by the way,
Robby Sabo.
By the way, the fact that O'Neal has just 1 L is outrageous. Dude, you have to have 2 L's to end the name O'Neal. That's gonna, if they hire him, it's gonna be a real detriment to writing on JetX. Like, for real.
I'm glad that's what you're thinking of. What do we got here? We got some super chats. Gabe in the house. He's been a channel member for 19 months. He goes, I'm biased because I'm a Canes fan, but Bane's the move at 2. He committed to the Canes when we were crap and helped build up the D. Great player and culture guy. Look, I'm a huge fan of him as a prospect. I just know we're going to have months of the short arms debate, which is going to be exhausting. I don't care about that. You dominated the national title game, right? Like, watch the tape, man. We don't need to do the underwear Olympics to try and determine if Bane's a good player. With Arvell Reese, it's so much projection. With Bane, we've seen it on the field. That's my tiebreaker.
Yeah, I get that perspective. And listen, whatever I say right now, I'm not going to go full tilt because I haven't really dug into them yet. It's coming. But listen, the short arm thing is not nothing. It's something. But I think the quickness in space question, I'm not saying he's bad at it. I just think that is the thing. Do you feel comfortable with him at edge on every play in terms of an absolute beast? Not just a regular player, just an absolute beast. And that's where you start comparing it to the guy who's really more versatile. But the short arms thing, largely overrated. I would agree. You
merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. You ready for a bunch of Dark Knight references?
Hey, it's pretty good. You gotta like that for sure.
You like my Photoshop skills, aka take this photo of Ruben Bane and put the Bane mask from Batman on him in ChatGPT?
And it almost looks like the real person. It's pretty good.
I am Gotham's reckoning. This is what we need. I'm telling you. Bane at 2. I'm sold after last night.
Listen, it will. I'll check back with everybody. I'm gonna look at it this week. I promise.
I'm team trade out, but I just don't know if any team is trading out.
Probably. I think team trade out is still the front runner because there isn't one guy that is obviously so far above and beyond anyone else. Like that's where I'm at right now.
Super chat from Sean. He's in the raffle for 2. I'm about to announce another prize, by the way, for next week's raffle. Right now, the top prize is a Curtis Martin helmet, and I just purchased another helmet that I think Jet fans are going to be pumped about. So stay tuned for that shortly. Sean says, I can't see Aaron, trust me, bro, Glenn, hiring McDermott or any other prior head coach if he was worried about players turning to look at Aaron Rodgers in meetings. I mean, he did hire Wilkes as a former head coach, but he was one and done in Arizona and then was an interim in Carolina. I do see your point. Sean, at the end of the day, Aaron Glenn needs to do what's in the best interest of winning games. And if you could get a guy like Sean McDermott, you hire him. But Sean McDermott might be a head coach in this cycle. He might have other opportunities. If you're Sean McDermott, go be the DC for Shanahan and go join the pipeline of guys that get head coaching jobs after their DCs, right? Saleh part 1, now Saleh part 2, D'Amico Ryans. Like that's what I would do if I was a guy like McDermott. Again, I just don't think the Jet DC job is that attractive, which is why if I'm Glenn, let me find the guy a year early like they did with Banjo rather than the retread who we kind of know what he is. But his job's on the line. He's going to do it his way. And ultimately, the fact that this DC hire, I think, is so important. I think we've already lost the plot with Glenn because the fact that a defensive head coach, we're this worried about him hiring a good DC.
Yeah, it shouldn't
doesn't that kind of tell you where we're at?
It shouldn't be crazy important. Real quick, I'll get this out of the way. Someone said John Randall. That is a good comp. John Randall to Bane. Randall's a little bigger. He played more interior. Great comp. Whoever said it, kudos. But the one thing is Randall played in a different world. That was a different world. Edges today have to be able to at least play in space a little bit. Randall could not do that. And he didn't have to. That was the way it was back then. You know, quarterbacks didn't never threaten the edge. Like, you couldn't do it. They'd get their head knocked off. But with Saleh, what the hell were you talking about? I forgot already.
Was I talking about with Saleh?
Oh, the defensive coordinator. Yeah, the defensive coordinator position.
McDermott as an option.
It really shouldn't be that important. The defense, like, of course it's important, but it shouldn't be an all or nothing.
It shouldn't decide whether or not Glenn could survive another year.
Yes. That is the 100% the case. Not only because it's a short passing QB efficient league, which again, if you look at these playoffs and don't think that, you're nuts. But Glenn's a defensive mind, so I don't get it. And then has anything come out in terms of why McDermott was let go? Nothing slipped out.
I mean, just the fact that they kept losing.
That's it.
In the playoffs, short of the Super Bowl.
He got the Tibbs treatment. I got it.
Pretty much. Tibbs was more successful than McDermott, you could argue, though.
Yes, and Tibbs did a lot more with a lot less. That 2020-21 roster might have been the worst playoff team I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
In the NBA. Like, he didn't have anyone close to Josh Allen. Not even close.
How quickly people seem to forget. Ladies and gentlemen, we won't forget about this guy. Big Cho in the house. He's gifting 5 channel memberships to the community. Let's go, Big Cho.
Jets, Jets.
Let's get a flurry of memberships here. I'm going to shout out the 5 people who
Big League Cho.
That's right, our guy Cho. He made the following people members: Jay Chucky, Mike PR, K Foot, Dr. Backmark, Matt Cath 10, all receiving a channel membership from our guy Big Cho. We are going to get into your calls coming up shortly. Some more super chats here. Bino writes in, AG doesn't adjust. Why would he care if Wink does? LOL.
That is a fascinating, not just from a scheme perspective. They're sort of similar in terms of attacking and, getting in people's mugs and all that stuff. But they're two personalities. That's like for those who say it wouldn't have worked with Rodgers and Glenn. I agree with the personalities, but it's tough to imagine Wink and Glenn then working. You know what I mean?
Look, I think Wink has a chance to be way better than Wilkes, but that's not saying much.
Sure,
like, again,
100%.
This would be a very uninspiring hire. Like, we gotta be honest. It's kind of where I'm at. I'll play you something I thought Connor Rogers nailed it on Wink. This was from about a week and a half ago. You tell me if you agree with his take here.
Defense is not talented right now. It's actually in a rough place. And you're not in control of who they draft this year for the defensive coordinator. You'll be in the meetings and you'll voice your opinions. But if Darren Muji wants to take Dante Moore and Mekhi Lemon with his first 2 picks, so big. Because if those guys do anything the last couple weeks of the season, Darren Muji will be here. The defensive coordinator can get fired again. It's not an attractive job. Like, Wink Martindale is a name that a lot of football fans know.
Yeah.
So for him, number one, a lot of people don't want to work in college football right now. With everything you're seeing in the transfer portal and NIL, especially an old school NFL coach like Wink. Guys, just look at Jeff Hafley. Jeff Hafley got out of college football, took over the Packers defense, and is now getting head coaching interviews. Yeah. So guys are eyeing things like that. So for Wink, you were popular for a little bit in New York. It's a name that people know. He's like, a cool looking old school football coach.
He's got the cutoffs with the long sleeve Under Armour.
The
and
old
glasses.
heads will gravitate towards that right away.
Yep.
The reality is, though, like you said, Joe, it's just he's outdated schematically. Predictable blitzes and zone coverages. The team, once again, I think I've said this on the pod before, and it's not just me reacting to one game. but we had Michigan USC for Big Ten Saturday night this year. And watching what Lincoln Riley's offense did to Wink's defense was a massacre in terms of schematic attack. And I just don't think it'll go well if they hire him, unless they just loaded this defense up with an insane amount of talent through the draft and free agency. And that doesn't say much to me. I'd rather try to get a younger, up-and-coming, innovative guy. But why should we believe that Glenn right now has that kind of clout? Is it not problematic that you and I are sitting here having a pessimistic conversation about who the Jets are hiring at defensive coordinator in year 2 of Aaron Glenn's regime, that it matters that much?
I've been saying this for weeks, right? I think Connor nails it there. Like, we are completely aligned in that take. Again, like, the fact that this hire matters as much as it does, to me, is more justification that the Jets should be one of the teams out there that is looking for a new head coach, because I feel like we're just giving away an entire season coming up where people's optimistic perspective is, oh, when it doesn't work out, at least we'll be one of the fewer teams that has an opening next year and we could get someone good then. Like, now we got to rely on waiting a year from now to hope that someone better will definitely want this job, aka the Jets can then pick the right guy for the job. And Woody Johnson's, decision making is abysmal. So it's so frustrating, man. It really is.
Another way to say it is, does it really hire that much, this job, or is it just the only opening right now? So it's the topic of conversation. I mean, in terms of what Connor said, yeah, I mean, I largely agree. But I think this is where our thoughts might have to go. Wink, I think, is one of those defensive, in terms of scheme, in terms of what he's done in the past, he's one of those defensive play callers who is much, much, much better. And he fits the team with the offense that could put him in a position to attack the quarterback more. Does that make sense? He fits a team. He's a much better DC when his team has a small lead, when his offense jumps out to an early lead, as opposed to playing from behind or playing even in games. And I think Daboll, what he did with Daniel Jones and the Giants in 2022 kind of reflects that. Next year, they were terrible offensively, and then the defense went down. I'm not saying this concretely, but I think it's a really good thought. Wink, that type of aggressive mindset. Same thing with Rex, real ball control. That fits a play style where it's ball control, grind it out, not high flying all over the field passing stuff. It doesn't fit. Like Wink with Ben Johnson or Wink with McVay, awful. Wink with Glenn could be a match if you actually get a lead. I think that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, the Jets and leads. That's always a thing.
So it works better in high risk, high reward when you know what the offense is going to do and pass the ball and they're really desperate. Does that make sense? It's tough to explain, but that's where my mind is. I really got to check into that a little more.
Ladies and gentlemen, end of the show today. 3 prizes up for grabs. Chad Pennington signed helmet, Darrelle Revis signed helmet, and a Garrett Wilson signed helmet. And I'll tell you what, I promised you I'd add a second prize to next week's raffle, a 2-for-1 special. So next week, top prize is a Curtis Martin helmet. Prize 2, I just bought another Joe Namath throwback helmet. So we got 2 helmets for the top prizes in next week's raffle. Let me know in the chat, would you prefer the third weekly prize to be a jersey, a helmet, or a signed football of a legendary Jet? And I'll make it happen for the community. Thanks to everyone who continues to support the show. I got a text from someone in media. I won't name any names. Quote, pretty amazing. You still have over 500 plus people tuning in for this trash team this time of year. Shout out to the best fans in sports, the best community, the Asmaniacs.
Yeah, dude.
You guys are the best.
Jet X had, what was it? It's like 750,000 readers in the last 30 days. So shout out to all the Jets fans. They keep coming. They keep coming. They may be masochists, but there are masochists. We
are addicted, man. Yeah. We are addicted to pain. We just keep coming back.
Yep.
Let's see. Spencer Green writes in, AG gets paid $10 million a year to coach football. We all think we are better than him in a YouTube chat. Why? Well, here's the thing, Spencer.
I don't think I'm better.
I don't think I'm better than him either. But let's use a different example here, right? I'm not a Hollywood director, but I know what a good movie looks like. You know what I mean? Like just because I'm not a Major League Baseball player, but I could tell you who's a good player and who's not. I can offer an opinion on that. Again, Aaron Glenn knows more football than like I'll ever know, Robbie will ever know combined. It's not about that. It's ultimately his job is to coach the Jets, and we as fans give opinions on it. And the bottom line is the record's the record, and what we saw is what we saw. They went 3-14, and we're historically inept in many aspects of football. That's a fact. So again, I'll never be an NFL head coach. Doesn't mean I don't know what a good one or a bad one looks like.
You're right. And, you know, that's akin to saying Glenn shouldn't have had any other opinions about head coaches before he took the head coaching job. So all of his opinions were null prior to getting hired with the Jets. That's basically what you're saying, because he was never a head coach before. It's silly. It's ridiculous.
Ladies and gentlemen, Super Chats, cut the line. The big fella in the house. Don't overthink it, Muji. Get Bane. Can't wait to see the Bane mass at MetLife. Bane and Jermaine Train wrecking havoc on Allen and May. LFG.
Is Bane the dude now? I've been lost in Knicks land the last week or two. Is Bane definitely the dude, or are there still mixed opinions?
There's no consensus. So
Okay.
you could tell me Bane's the dude. I would have no problem if they took a receiver at 2. Just get me a stud. We went through hell this year, and I don't want to waste the number 2 pick. Like we wasted it with Zach Wilson. We are still feeling the effects of such a thing. My big thing is get a damn good football player, and I preferably prefer a guy with a very high floor so there's not as much of a bust rate.
During the broadcast, the Bears broadcast against the Rams, who did the game? Was it Brady?
The Bears and Bears Rams was Tirico and Collinsworth.
Oh, that's right. It was NBC. They brought up the fact that they drafted weapon after weapon after weapon last draft. And Ben Johnson told Dennis Allen, hey, you're not going to get much help here. We're going to have to make do with what works. How in the world did the defense flip like that without adding much talent? How? In other words, in the old days, you could build from the trenches out. And I think from the trenches out is still more valuable than the other way out going into the trenches. I think the trenches being stout is more valuable to the outward guys as opposed to the reverse. But it's getting less and less and less as time goes on, meaning weapons are that much more valuable. You see it with the Bears strategy, with Loveland and Burden and what have you. So getting a weapon, Manungai, 7th round pick. What was the last 7th round pick the Jets had? Getting weapons. Don't take that lightly, Jake.
To me, it's points, it's scoring. Defense could be fixed through free agency and a good coaching hire. It's all about points for me.
That's the thing. Defense, and again, back in the day, offense and defense could complement each other evenly. One could lift the other the same way the other could lift the other. These days, it's not even a question. The defense must play off of the offense. The defense can't lift the offense like the way it used to. So we're firm in agreement there.
Comments, questions, Super Chats, cut the line. NYC to SRQ says, we're a different breed, Jake. We all bleed green. I mean, I say it all the time. If the Jets were an actual relationship, we would have left it decades ago, centuries ago, is what it feels like. It's the most toxic relationship I'll ever have in my life, and I can't leave. There's just no way.
Toxic's the right word. Bleed green. Have you ever peed green? That's the question.
I'm sure I have at some point. Have enough food dye. It affects the bodily fluids.
Scary. It is.
Jets Johnny says, James Chadwick Pennington. Johnny, I'm glad you're in good spirits. Johnny is a University of Miami fan, so tough one last night for his school, but a great season. The 2 people I feel the worst for are Jets Johnny and this blonde fan they showed on the screen last night, Robbie.
Yeah, I missed this. I missed this live. What happened here?
Yeah, I mean, look, she just looked like she was very upset with the loss, and I was thinking about her and Jets Johnny last night.
Did Musburger make a comeback? No, right?
No, he did not call the game. It was Fowler and Herbstreit.
Musburger's my dude. That moment in time. How long ago was that now? 2 decades ago? When he who's the quarterback? Damn, I'm losing my mind. I forget. The ABC broadcast flipped to the quarterback's girlfriend in the stands. Someone in the chat will tell me. And Musburger just went off. It had to be one of those moments.
Your ability to just seamlessly just not acknowledge what I showed on the screen was phenomenal. Well done.
I'm Polish.
Ryan the General with the super chat. Did Beck do enough for a mid-draft flyer? I've heard so many mixed opinions on Carson Beck. People talking about him going in the second round, which I don't see that. I've heard, third round. I've heard he's a day 3 guy. Dylan Terraman said that he's going to go undrafted. I have no idea where Carson Beck's going to end up.
What was on the screen now? I'm very curious. You got to show me.
Oh, you weren't even watching?
Yeah, I see it.
I was showing this blonde fan who looked very sad during the game.
Not bad.
Carson Beck, where does he get picked?
Man, I was so proud of Miami's D. I was like a proud papa that they had the best game plan against Indiana's offense. And their offense, Signetti had a real decision to either, at 3rd and 5, they ran the ball. He was hoping for 4th and short, I think, and he would have went for it, but he didn't. They kicked the field goal, go up 6. Beck forced it. There was still plenty of time left. No reason to force it. Pre-snap was showing too high. I think it was 2-man, standard trail coverage because you have over the top halves. That's just one of those things. The awareness in that situation, no reason to force it. So I think Beck will go day 2 somewhere.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
There's some stuff you like, but it's wild with him.
He's probably the earliest a 3rd rounder at best, I would say. He's probably. We'll see. Luppy says, get Bane at 2. He'd create havoc on the field. Let's go Baniacs. So if you want Bane at 2, you're a Baniac.
He would be tremendous, a tremendous run stuffing edge. That I think is pretty certain.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Robby Sabo is with us here. Reminder to join the Patreon. If you join for the year, you get 10 raffle tickets applied. If you do it during the show, I could add you to the weekly raffle coming up for the 3 signed items that we're going to give away. I just want to give some love to Michael Perez, George McDonald, Jay Ponce Enrile, Andrew Malaya, Ted Ruggiero, and Ken O'Connell for being our 6 most recent Patreon subscribers. Comments, questions, your super chats will continue to cut the line, except the one from Spencer Green, because I don't want to read that one, but Robby, you can check it out on your own time. On that note, let's get to some of your calls right now. We'll start it off with Nick today. He will get us rolling. Hello, Nick.
How's it going, Jake? Number one, I got to thank you for all the work you do for this organization, to how you roll, not for the organization, but how you represent the fan base. Because you guys, you and a couple others you guys are our voice. And when I see you press Mr. T, I enjoy that very much because, there has to be some answers in here as to how we got where we are. This coaching staff, the players, the accountability, all that stuff. I just want to point on a couple of things as it pertains to the draft, because we could go down the negative slide forever. It's not going to get better until we start producing wins. Do you draft the edge rusher from Miami, number 2? There's definitely some weapons out there we can take, but the quarterback situation, obviously, we know is paramount. I just don't know what we do. Do you try and get, a 1-year veteran in there, or sign him to a 2-year deal? This Malik Willis, everybody's going, I know his name's out there, but I mean, there's not a whole lot of film on him to say he's that great. But then again, we gave Justin Fields $30 million, and we were told it's just coaching. We just need better coaching. So, it just sucks hitting all these points. I don't mean to be skipping around. It just sucks being the armpit of the league, and it sucks to have everyone crap on us the way that we do, because we really are a great fan base and we deserve so much better. And like I said in the beginning, creators such as yourself, that are out there not only giving us the news, but trying to hold this organization accountable. this is all we have. You guys are really all we have. That's good. That's pure. Everything else has been, built and torn down how many times now, so I guess the big thing I want to just say is thank you. Keep pressing Mr. Tannenbaum because he's got a lot of nonsense. That guy could sell ice to an Eskimo. I've got no doubt about it. I mean, he comes with some real nonsense. When I heard him say, well, look at what NVIDIA and, companies like Google or Amazon, I'm thinking this guy really is something else. But yeah, I don't know what we do at quarterback. We take somebody in the second round. Maybe we take I'm not privy, I'm not too high on Carson Beck. The kid's got some fight in him. He's certainly not worth a second round pick. But, if you could get value and draft somebody in the second round and actually put him on the field this time, I think that anything's better than what we got. So I'll end it there. And thank you again for your time as always.
Nick, great call. Have you called before? I don't recognize the face.
I have, yes. I've called once before. I've called on the radio. I've got my uncle Richard, who he and I are the two Jet fans in our family, and he's been around for a long time and got to see him win the Super Bowl and all that. But ever since then, it's been he and I on this roller coaster. And I think each Jet fan has a story to tell, how they became a fan, what the experience is, been like. I tie myself to, the Rex Ryan era, and I was telling my brother the other day, I said, man, the Jets haven't been in the playoffs since I bought my home, and that already flew by 15 years. So, it's crazy to think, how quick the time does go by. I just don't know how we consistently get it wrong all the time. Now, watch Saleh go to Tennessee and watch him make a difference down there. And we're going to say, how come that didn't happen here? And I get it. My father always tells me, Nick, it's different playing in New York. It's different, whether it's being a Yankee or whatever, it's different. And, clearly we've seen a lot of guys and a lot of legends struggle. So hopefully we can get it right this time, guys. I mean, we can't take it anymore. We deserve it. We deserve it as a fan base. So
well said, Nick. Great call, man. Call back more. That was awesome. I mean, he represents how most Jet fans feel at this point. It's just all hope. But the one thing I think this entire fan base can universally agree on is, God, do we deserve better? Because the Jet fan base is special.
It's just imagine the day they win the Super Bowl, whoever the president is, the state of emergency immediately. You'll have to section off the Northeast in certain ways. It'll be that ridiculous. Like I can't even imagine it. It's that insane. And Dave Brugge, Polish Power. Yes, sir. Everyone else hating on the Polacks. How dare you, people? How dare you? And AJ McCarron, good call. Yeah, that was the Musburger moment when they panned to AJ McCarron's girlfriend in the stands. And also, veteran Jets fan, 3-4. Is Bane a 3-4 guy? He might fit 3-4 better than 4-3, actually, as that 3-4 defensive end, a la Sean Ellis-esque. So that's a good comment right there.
Some super chats, then we'll go right back to your calls. Again, reminder, next week we will be at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama.
Nice.
Join me, Dom C, Dylan Terriman. We'll have daily coverage, interviews with several of the top players. We put our request in yesterday.
Yeah, I'm glad Dom C is going.
Oh,
Definitely
yeah. He'll be. Dom C had no internet yesterday. He was supposed to come on the show. We're rescheduled to Friday with him. So stay tuned for that, folks. The Real Disco Duck says, Bane or Tate at 2. I do trust AG to develop Reese. And then he followed up and said, I meant to say I do not trust AG. So he says, I don't trust AG to develop Reese. I don't trust Tyson's injury history. Both players can be easily used by our 2027 HC. I agree. Bane or Tate works for me. I really like Jordan Tyson. Check his injury history, though. Hamstrings, had a shoulder. I don't know, man. Like, you see guys when they get hurt a lot in college, it oftentimes carries with them to the NFL.
It's a monster deal. You have to pay attention to injuries to such an incredible degree when drafting. I completely agree. It's worrisome.
This one is from Dan, who writes in, McDermott ended a 17-year playoff drought in Buffalo with Tyrod. Why can't Woody recognize he'd be a massive upgrade over Glenn instead of waiting a year?
I don't know. It's I got nothing. It's tough. It's not that. It's not even about the record. Like I've said it so many times, a million times, and I was steadfast about this 2 years ago during Saleh. I just think it's a mindset. Everything, no matter what goal you're trying to achieve in life, it begins with having the right mindset. Like if you play Monopoly with your family, if you don't know the goal of the game, how to win, what makes it easiest to win, you're gonna struggle. And I think as an organization, that's what they have to start with.
Mike Perez in the raffle for 2. Bring Bane back to Gotham. Jake/Robbie, thoughts on Mendoza. I don't know if it's me, but he does not wow me. I mean, he's going to be the first pick in the draft in all likelihood. I think if you're saying he doesn't wow you off of last night, like, okay, but he's playing against an elite defense. And when the game was on the line, the guy's a winner, man. I mean, that run he made on the 4th and 6, that's one of the all-time plays you'll see in college football history. And again, the guy wins. The guy's a winner. Seems like he's made the right stuff. He's got the prototypical size. He's got the mental capacity. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback in the NFL.
I have questions, as I've told everyone. I think when things aren't just picture perfect, 3-step RPO, there's something that's really troubling to me. But everything you said about being a winner, smart, all those intangibles is there. Like, in other words, the folks who are dumping on him and saying, "Oh, he's a 5th round pick, 6er," that's nonsense. Like, he's shown enough to warrant the ballpark of where he's going right now. My thing is, I don't think it's unanimous. Like, you have to take him at 1. That's all my mind is right now, basically, because there's some stuff that's trouble. But the entire class, the quarterback class, is very rough looking. That's my stance from the start.
Again, all these guys are question marks. There's no perfect
all
prospects.
Of them, dude.
Like,
all of them.
It comes down to situation and coaching. We've seen this so many times.
All of them. And don't sleep on the day 2. Like, Nussmeier he doesn't have the size, Nussmeier, and he's going to get pushed down because of that. But when looking at the tape, Nussmeier, he does really great things in terms of anticipation, reading, pre-snap stuff, where he wants to go with the ball. He's an interesting one to watch, but he just doesn't have the size, which is very concerning.
Bang Mateo, Ruben Bane pro comp equals Justin Tuck. Let's go. Justin Tuck, if you got that 2nd overall, I mean.
He was long, Justin Tuck. He was
6'5",
long.
265, Justin Tuck.
I could see what he's saying. I could see what he's seeing, basically. But Tuck was very long, slender. Like, he's the same weight, but he's much. How tall is Bane? I don't even know.
Ruben Bane, according to
6'3".
My draft guide is he is 6'3", 275.
Yeah, Tuck was long. They'd move him inside on the NASCAR packages against the undefeated Brady Patriots, which worked. I could see it. Randall is the better comp, but it's a different sport. The edge, you need to have your edge, be able to play in space. That's why the Clemens at edge thing is just such a detriment. And to Glenn's credit, he handled it better than Saleh, I think, because Saleh was hesitant to put Clemens on the inside in passing situations. They had better talent, but he would leave him out there. Like, you only want Clemens out there in base and ask him to crash and do certain things where someone could replace him off the edge, scrape exchange, stuff like that. Does Bane fit that category? Not exactly, but there are thoughts there.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Let's keep reading your chats. Let's get to more of your calls. Before we do that, though, I want to inform Robbie on where he ranked in the Jack Straw, completely unnecessary, but 100% correct ranking of Jets media. So I read the full list yesterday. This was a forum on Jet Nation, which I got to be honest, I got to start, reading the forum. This was sent to me by veteran Jet fan before the show.
Yeah.
So, Robbie, if you're ranked high, that's bad. You want to be ranked low. So, number 1 was Meta. Number 2 was Hughes. Number 3 was Harrison Glazer. Number 4 was every content creator besides me. Number 5 was Rossini.
So that's me.
No, you're not on there. Number 6 was Will Parkinson. I was number 7. They wrote or aka Jack wrote, Asman is a radicalizer. He takes a fan who's mildly annoyed and turns them into a foaming at the mouth lunatic for 3 hours, then reads super chats about it. He doesn't cover the Jets. He covers the argument about the Jets, and he's basically a rage DJ. He doesn't create anger. He just remixes it louder and sells $2 super chats. And I would push back and say, I do get angry naturally. So I do create anger. My anger stems from the Jets being dog shit. So that's my only pushback.
Damn
Number
redhead. I'm telling you, red hair, it just angers people. I don't know what it is.
Number 8 is Michael Nania, your co-founder.
Oh.
He says, this is a smart rot. He brings analysis and receipts, but the vibe can be you disagree, you don't understand football. It creates this little caste system where normal fans aren't allowed to be mad unless they passed an EPA exam. Using film/stats to invalidate obvious reality is its own toxicity. Sometimes it's analysis as a weapon.
Yeah.
Number 9, Zach Rosenblatt. Number 10.
Wait, was Meta one? Manish?
Manish was number 1.
He hasn't covered the team in half a decade.
Well, it's funny you say that. He's not on the beat, and it still doesn't matter. Manish is the Jets media herpes. You think it's gone. Then some old clip/screenshot resurfaces. You remember why this fan base has trust issues. Petty, smug, always had an angle, always wanted to be the story. Every interaction felt like he was trying to win instead of inform. If Jets media had a constitution, it's one sentence, Manish is banned forever. Some of you are too young to have lived through it, and honestly, I envy you.
So this wasn't a poll. It was Jack Straw's an article, basically, like a write-up. Okay,
his assessment. And I want to get to your ranking here.
It's a pretty good idea, though. Like I've actually thought about on JetX to try to have some sort of running power ranking of all the media folks and content creators. It's so hard to pull off objectively and without putting a lot of manpower into it.
Let me get to yours.
Yeah.
Number 13. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Hey,
you came in at 13. Actually watches film and talks real X and O's. The knock is he can get a little preachy and way too in love with coaching and scheme. Like every problem is solvable if you just execute harder. Sometimes the Jets just stink. Still, he's doing actual work, not engagement farming. Your thoughts on your ranking by Jack Straw?
Yeah, I could absolutely see what he's explaining there. But the thing is, when the organization doesn't actually get to the point of the root cause, there's nothing else to talk about. Like we could pretend like the personnel is going to change things, but it won't. So I'm not going to betray what's real. That's the only thing I'd say in pushback.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is the man who wrote the story. Jack Straw joins us now. Hello, Jack.
Bravo.
Jack, we can't hear you, all right? Your next article should be why my Wi-Fi is dog shit, all right? How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. Good call back, Jack. We'll put you on. I love the article. Jack sent me an email last night being like, dude, I can't believe you read it. And I'm like, yeah, and it was hilarious. I loved it. So we'll get Jack on and we'll talk to him about his power rankings.
There should be, you know what? There should be a poll off of that too. We'll even share it at JetX to see what happens.
I love that. I love that Manish is number 1. That's so funny.
Exactly. It's fucking great.
That's so funny. And also Harrison Glazer catching strays. I don't think he does a podcast or anything. He just
he doesn't.
About the Jets.
There's no original content there, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I mean, he just basically takes screenshots of like tweets and adds a question around it.
Yeah, like there's no. It's just aggregation, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's see if Jack Straw's internet will be solved here. Let's say hello to the man himself. Hello, Jack. No? Can't hear us? Nothing?
Is Straw a Polish name?
Reset your StreamYard, Jack. Don't use headphones. Just talk. Normal.
I bet you it was Strawberry at one point and until his family got to Ellis Island.
Some of the comments are very funny. Like they're all ranked last. Herpes is incurable, so I think Meta was more like the clap. That's from the great Sperm Edwards. Are you familiar?
I am not, but that's pretty good.
Connor Rogers is getting some love from someone whose nephew was a college roommate of his.
Whose nephew was a college roommate? Who do you know about?
I'm just reading the comments here.
Nephew was a college roommate of his.
Shout out to veteran Jet fan. He had my back in the comment section.
See, I'm very not locked into. Only when I see like Asman's pretty much the only show I watch regularly, and not even year round. Like the past 2 weeks, I've been locked in with the Knicks. But a lot of this stuff, I would have never seen this if you didn't bring it up. In other words, I am not locked in.
Let's see.
And the best, the radicalization description of you. Listen, when I tell people you're a radio guy, you're a professional radio guy, like that is the goal. That's the job. That's the thing. It's apt, but that's the job.
I like this one, by the way. Rodgers is the absolute best. No idea how he keeps that 5 o'clock shadow under his nose for every Jets postgame. Asman is Adam Shine, two loudmouths with no talent, plus the fact that Asman always brings Mr. What a Disgrace Bro on the show after he vomits the same shit he does on WFAN and his own podcast. To be fair, we get Joe on first before he says the same thing on his podcast and then on with Evan and Tiki later on. Our streaming guys leave a lot to be desired. Boring as bleep. This says it all about our streamers. Lame and no offense intended. Ryan is actually very good and deserves a better show. So he's a fan of Ryan for Jets Talk.
Ryan, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, Ryan's my guy.
I like this one. I mean, you have to feel sorry for these guys as well, right? Covering the Jets is like covering a movie that is a cross between Titanic and Groundhog Day.
Dude, I've told many a Jets beat writer, I don't know how you've done it. Like Samini, Costello, and it's wild. It is.
Jake Asman is reading all this on his YouTube show and loving it. That's right. We are.
Oh, chatting in real time.
Pretty good list. I'd have Asman ranked higher. He's been destroying Mike T on a weekly basis for hiring Glenn on ESPN Radio. I give him credit for having the balls to do that. Will Parkinson is too much of a positive homer for me. It gets old.
Oh no.
Let's see.
Is Leberfeld on there? Did Leberfeld get love, or is he not included?
No, he's not. But someone wrote he's been writing pamphlets since the 90s, so I thought that was hilarious.
For Jack, tremendous idea. I love it. In fact, if you want to be in charge of the JetX 24/7 power rankings, I'll set up a page. I'll set up an entire section. You could be that dude. Like I've always wanted to do this. It's just I don't have the manpower. It's really impossible. But there's got to be a way to get the Jets fans involved in terms of like a voting element. That's a must, 100%. But the genesis is tremendous.
It's a funny concept. Second to only Woodpecker, Aaron Glenn is the herpes of the Jet organization. We have a personal list from Tom Shane. Let me read this, and then we'll see if we can get Jack Shaw on here. Yeah. Samini, number 1. Old school professional who does the work, makes the phone calls, isn't afraid to push some upper level buttons when necessary. Not perfect by any means.
But is good for him. Number 1 is good in this regard.
Yeah, this is good. So the opposite of Jack's list, you wanted to be ranked lower. So you were 13, which is great. I was 7, so I was right in the middle of the pack.
He gave me 13. Yeah.
Let's see. Did I make the list here? Nope. I didn't make his list. Neither did you. Boy Green. I just love how there's just a photo of Boy Green here.
Well done. I clicked off.
A lot of love for Steve Serby here. That's pretty funny. You can tell this is an older audience that's tuned into the Jet Nation.
That's why a poll has to be. It's got to be a running section on a website, JetX, which the traffic is there, and it's got to be a poll. So because we know social media. Twitter people stands Twitter. Facebook people stand Facebook. YouTube, same thing. There's a little bit of crossover. Readers of articles usually stay on the website. They got Google News or Apple News or what have you. So yeah, it's got to get to every, and then there's podcasts. There's podcasting and radio. So it's got to get to every corner of Jets fandom.
Ladies and gentlemen, one last time with Jack Straw. We know he could write, but he might not know how to work the computer. Jack, are you there?
Do I have audio?
Yes.
I have audio. Wonderful. Yeah. Jake, you do a great job.
Are you Polish, Jack?
No, I'm a suffering Italian.
Close enough.
Yeah, we're all the same. We're all the same. Yeah. But obviously a big fan of both of your contents. That list was satirical in nature. It started out as really focusing on the Jets beat. And as I started to think about it, the Jets beat has never been less relevant in media. And I feel like all they do is really, they're kind of like state-run media in some regards, where they don't really analyze anything. They don't really have an opinion or original thought. They're just parroting whatever it is that their middle source in the organization is feeding them. And so wanted to expand it a little bit to get some of the new platforms involved with the Twitter handles and obviously Robby, your platform. I think you do a great job, and the folks at Badlands as well.
You listen to a ton of Jets content, though, if you were able to have this much info on everyone.
Yes, that's the thing. And what I mentioned before, like there are so many different types of Jets fans. JetX, I mentioned it before, like 750,000 monthly readers. Most of our people don't even have social media in a lot of ways. Like it's wild. Most people who listen to podcasts just listen to podcasts and stay on YouTube. Some people are just social media Jets fans and don't read or listen. So it's really crazy. But yeah, that's a tremendous job by you.
They're all over the place. Dan Leberfield actually forgot to leave off because I don't think I've read something from him in probably 15, 20 years.
He has his own pocket
Jets Confidential?
of Jets fandom.
Is that
yes.
Jets Confidential from back in the
Follow
day.
him on Twitter, Jack, and you'll see he posts the links to his articles. That's how I consume them.
My feed is inundated enough with all these differing opinions. But nice to see original thought from guys like you, Robby. Would love to pivot into the draft. I know, like when you get into the college playoffs, like we see there's always this flavor of the month that pops up, and Ruben Bane is obviously a great player, and his stock will never be higher than it is today, particularly coming off of just a tremendous run. A couple questions for you. I don't know how closely you followed Miami this year, but the regular season, 4.5 sacks in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
Like one thing that I ask myself is like, how can a guy who has been this dominant against the best teams have 4.5 sacks in that conference and then have such a tremendous playoff run? And is that at all concerning when you're thinking about picking him at number 2?
It's definitely a thought, especially because Miami was great this year and they put up points. So you should have more opportunities in that regard. Yeah, I'm not going to offer a strong opinion because I haven't really dug into the tape on all the guys. Reese, Bane. So I think a lot of people, you just got to be careful. Don't offer a strong opinion if you really don't have a strong opinion yet. And I think that's where I'm at. It'll change at this point, maybe 2 weeks from now. It's concerning, maybe, but it's definitely a thought you gotta dig into. That's a low number for sure.
We are 3 months away from the NFL draft, and the next 3 months they are going to be poking and prodding every one of these prospects. So when you think about the edge and how important length is, there's been plenty of players that didn't have ideal length who have been very good edge rushers. But how much stock do you put into arm length as a defensive end, and how important is it?
I think it depends what type of edge guy you are. And Bane is the prototypical tweener, maybe. Someone mentioned before 3-4 with Wink. He might be a better 3-4 D end than like a prototypical edge guy. And in that case, length, I don't think will matter as much, but we can't wave it away entirely. There's no way.
I'm in agreement where, like, if I'm picking someone in the top 3, 4, 5 picks, like, you need to basically be de-risked and you need to check some of the ideal boxes. Now, look, like Armand Memu got kind of picked apart last year because he had 33.5-inch arms or whatever it is as a right tackle. Like, there's plenty of right tackles that survive with that kind of length. But if the rumors are true about Ruben Bane measuring in sub 31-inch arms, in the research that I've been able to do, there's been one player in the last 20 years with sub 31-inch arms who have had a 10-sack, James Harrison Jr. That's it. There's no one else. There's not one. And so, like, to me, my prediction is that over the next 3 months, Ruben Bane is going to be in the weight room, drinking a lot of protein and putting his weight up to maybe 285, 290, 295, somewhere around there, and sliding inside as a 3 technique, because I just don't think that any GM can turn in that card with such a glaring red flag staring you in the face. Well, and for you to, and sorry to interrupt you, but the last point is here, these guys need comps, right? Like when a GM is picking a player and they're listening to their scouting department, they say, who am I getting? Who's the comp to this guy? And for you to be able to point to an undrafted free agent who took a bunch of years to develop in the Steelers as the comp at pick 2, like, it's a tough thing to do as a GM.
I think your thoughts are spot on, and I'll say this: it's not just arm length; it's quickness in space, in open field. Because that's the first thing I said off the top. How will he play in space as a true edge? That's the question. What is his 40 time? 4.7, something like. It's not impressive. In other words, so
the combine's going to be big for him because we don't actually know his arm length.
That was where I was getting to. The combine, I think, arm length is whatever. It's going to matter, but I think the quickness in space in short areas is going to be the biggest thing for him.
Yeah.
Also,
and if it doesn't work well in that regard, he could put on weight and be more of a tweener.
I mean,
that route.
The only thing is I have PTSD from that 1 year under Herm when they asked Sean Ellis to come in at camp at like 305 and they slid him inside. That was the year they drafted Brian Thomas out of Alabama Birmingham.
Yes.
And they had Steve White.
With a Y, Brian with a Y.
Yeah. And that lasted, I think it was a half game before they said to Sean Ellis, hey, can you drop 20 pounds and slide back outside? And it was just a complete loss of a year for him.
Or how about when they had Mo, Sheldon, and who was the third guy? Leonard Williams, right?
Leonard Williams.
Oh, yeah. And they asked Sheldon to play stand-up linebacker. Towards the end of the year, it was.
I think I saw him playing cornerback under Rex for a couple of snaps, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Hey, Jack. I don't understand how I could be at 7.
Don't radicalize him, Jake.
Right? But you wrote but your description for Andy Vasquez, who's 11, is replacement level beat writer, not offensive, not useful, mostly just exist. If he vanished for a month and came back like nothing happened, nobody would be sure when he left. How could I be so far away from a guy you called replacement level and that adds nothing?
Jake,
I add something. I give you rage DJing, Jack.
This was originally just a beat reporter review, right? But like as I started to write through it, I was like, I don't consider you a beat reporter, right? Like you're a radio guy to me, and you're very good at it. But you obviously do a Jets dedicated show. So I was like, I got to get him in there somewhere. And to me, you're more of a facilitator. You obviously have a lot of rage in you. And I think you do a great job of stoking the flame and pouring gasoline on your just, there's a radio guy. There's a lot of Jets fans out there who just kind of like, whatever way the wind's blowing, I think you take that group, you radicalize them, and and look.
I don't think it's intentional, though. I think I'm just angry, and then maybe my passion people can relate to it.
But here's the thing: radio and podcasting, that medium is more interconnected to fan speak and fan emotions than anything else. Like the beat writers, I talk to them sometimes and say, "Man, I have it easy because with JetX, I could do whatever I want pretty much. They have demands. They have to be that intermediary, for like Samini or at ESPN or Costello at the Post, they have to do that specific job while there are other analysts who do a different job. So,
and I think, Tom Shane's post, I think actually did a better job than mine in kind of exposing some of the beat writers. Like his analysis of Zach Rosenblatt was just completely dead on. I think I was a little bit friendlier to him than I should have been. But like the Saminis, this guy's been around for 30 years. He knows everyone in the building. He's perpetually cranky because he's been like covering this miserable team his entire adult life. And, he's got some connections in the building. These guys can't burn whatever sources they have. So they're never going to come out and say Aaron Glenn should be fired after 12 months.
It goes to what I said.
Work with him still. Exactly.
Yes. And it goes to what I said before. Sports media access has become more precious because of how everything is so much available. So back in the day in the 80s when Parcells was hanging out with the sports writers, they could be more independent in their thoughts and original in their thoughts because it was concrete and it was black and white, access or not. These days it's very blurred. So you have to toe the company line. And I'm not talking about Samini, I'm just talking about in general. You have to toe the company line, like the Saleh stuff.
But Robbie, I would generally agree with that sentiment if these guys were getting fed stories before the Adam Schefters of the world. These guys haven't broken a story in 15 years. And then not only that, but like they've been nobody had the Sauce deal anywhere on the radar. When it was brought up, you were laughed out of the room. They're not trading. They just signed Sauce. There's no way they're ever going to trade him. And then, they're going back and deleting tweets, 2 days later after the deal happens. It's just like, what are you protecting if you're not getting fed anything ahead of the national guys?
Well, that's where all the stuff gets fed to now because they have the bigger reach. So the local guys don't break as much, and they're not going to be as critical as much unless it's obvious Glenn is going to get fired because they still got to work with him every day. They got to see him at the
100%.
combine. They got to see him at the league meetings, the owners meetings. So it's like makes their job harder if they're calling for the head coach to be fired after a year when they had it on pretty good authority. They knew Woody wasn't going to fire him after just 1 year. So you're never going to get the full
it's a tough
brunt of criticism because they need to play ball for another year. It was obvious with Gase too. Once the COVID year happened and it was so clear Gase was gone, then all the columns started on how the Jets got to fire Gase, but no one was saying they should fire him in year one when it was obvious he never should have been hired in the first place. So of course he could have been fired after 1 year. It was justified. They started 1-7.
Yep. And the same thing happened with Rex.
Yeah. In a perfect world, this is my perfect world because I'm a coach too. JetX would just be all football all the time, film, analytics just all the time. That we don't live in a perfect world. Like we have to try to write to every type of fan, which is the casual fan, basically that dominates every fan base in this country. So whether you're a beat writer or own a site or do a podcast, you have to do things you don't want to do. In other words,
no, totally get it. I mean, look, I'd rather be doing that and selling $2 super chats than selling $2 The Athletic subscriptions. You know what I mean?
Hey man, create the Jets media power rankings at JetX. Shoot me an email. We'll get that done.
I'll get it done for you guys. But Jake, thanks for the platform as always. Thank you, Robby. You guys have a good rest of your day.
I love it. You do a content creator list next, Jack. I want to see where I stack up.
You got to do it in each avenue, like podcasts.
I agree. We got to break it down into actual
websites, like
proper
website,
media forums
ranking.
and all that.
Yeah,
I'll get to work on that, Robby.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Straw, great call by him. And in fact, I actually got this video sent to me. This was Jack apparently typing my list or my breakdown on this rankings.
Asman is a radicalizer. He takes a fan who's mildly annoyed and turns them into a foaming at the mouth lunatic for 3 hours, then reads SuperChats about it. He doesn't cover the Jets. He covers the argument about the Jets. And he's basically a rage DJ. He doesn't create the anger. He just remixes it louder and sells $2 super chats.
Super chats, cut the line. Who's got a $2 super chat for me to read?
You're the Stalin of Jets fandom. You love it.
I love it. It's a great breakdown. I'm dying. The Andy Vasquez one is so ridiculous. And then Manish Mehta being number one when he hasn't been on the Jets beat in Bieniemy. Let's think about it like this: DJ Bieniemy, who's now covering the Texans for ESPN. He replaced Manish.
DJ, holy
so
shit.
DJ was on the beat for 2 years, I believe. Yep. Then, so that's 2 years. And then Antoine replaced DJ. And Antoine, by the way, no love for Antoine on Jack's list there. No one mentioned Antoine. And then what was I going to say? So then Antoine just did 4. So Manish hasn't been on the Jets beat in 6 seasons, if my math is correct. And he's still number one on Jack's list.
Yeah, that was the sprinkle on top of the cupcake for sure. That was good. The beat, and let's face it, the beat writers are at a great disadvantage when grouped into everyone else because they have to keep churning out content over and over and over again. Like it's such a specific job. Yeah.
It's not an easy job, but you get paid to do it. So you got to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A pure beat writer power ranking would be interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Jack writing Robby Sabo's review.
Robby Sabo actually watches film and talks real X's and O's. The knock is he can get a little preachy and way too in love with coaching and scheme. Like every problem is solvable if you just execute harder. Sometimes the Jets just stink. Still, he's doing actual work, not engagement farming.
Congrats on doing actual work, Robby.
It's pretty accurate right there. I got to admit.
Let's see here. Boomtown. We'll let you go soon, Robby. Boomtown says, for the same people complaining about arm length, do you still hold the same concern with Tyler Linderbaum for weeks leading up to the draft? The comment on him was arm length being a concern. Again, arm length doesn't bother me if the film checks out. Like, I'm not letting that stop me from taking a great player if they think he's a great player.
Yeah, same. I think the quickness in open field is what I'm more interested in to see. That's going to be the big thing. How does he fare in open field as an edge player? Because that's a major deal in the NFL. And if you have a slow guy, Jets fans have seen it with Clemens. If you have a guy who, even in base, even on first down, second down, rush pass, balance situations, a good OC is going to exploit that to the hilt. He'll kill that. So that's the biggest thing: quickness and space.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Last chance for Robbie to address your comment or super chat. Sam cuts the line immediately. He's in the raffle for 2. Jake channels the anger of every Jet fan. Can we talk about all the guys we could draft on offense? The Bane talk is making me angry. Well, I think there's 2 guys they could draft on offense, maybe 3. The 2 receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you love Mekhi Lemon that much, I don't know if you take him at 2. That feels high, but again, his comp is JSN. You would have no problem taking the offensive player of the year in the NFL.
Yeah.
At pick 2, if you could get him. I really like Carnell Tate over Tyson simply because I don't want to take Tyson with the injury risk. He might be the better prospect. I know some think he is, but injuries concern me, and I need to get the pick at number 2. I need a big player, big-time contributor at 2. Like, maybe Tyson ends up being better if you promised me he'd have total health, but I think Carnell Tate's going to be a really, really good player, and I would have no problem drafting him at 2.
Tate, and he complements Garrett well, I think. He's a bigger, he's taller, he's got the straight line speed. He could be that, RZ dude. Like, he could be that red zone high point guy. And Garrett's more the route runner, possession guy. So I think that's a good, I think Tate for sure. When you're looking at offense, Tate's the guy.
Tate is 6'3", 191. He's a little bigger than Garrett.
Yeah. And is he a true high point? I don't know. I got to look at him still, but that's my initial thought. Leader in the clubhouse should still be trade down, I think. I really do believe that.
Agreed. I think you're going to have a hard time finding a way to trade down.
Yeah.
Let's see. Some quick $2 super chats inspired by Jack Straw. Luppy says Jack Straw equals Jets forever. Bang Mateo. Didn't Jared Allen and Melvin Ingram have 31-inch arms? I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I know, Bang. I'd have to look that up.
Jared Allen and Melvin Ingram.
Both very good players. Jared Allen, did he make the Hall of Fame? I know he's a finalist. Did he get in?
I think so, but I'm not positive. I remember he hit Johnny Knoxville in one of the Jackass movies. Thought he had internal bleeding. It was that bad.
Hawk likes Surratt. Jets Johnny likes Surratt. I like Surratt a lot as someone who watched more Indiana this year because of the Jets connection to Mendoza.
Surratt.
The guy's a clutch baller. Also, we've got to wait a couple of years. I want that kid number 80, Becker.
That's what I was gonna say. The other kid is even tremendous in his own right.
Like, what a gamer, man! That guy made the 2 biggest catches of the game last night.
Yes, his positioning, his body control, like they were draped. Those guys were draped at times and came away with catches. Jared Allen, 32-inch, I think. 32-inch arms.
Fact.
Yeah.
All right, Robbie. I'll get you out of here with this question. If the draft was today, the New York Jets take which player at number 2?
My wish or what I think Glenn's going to do?
Either.
My wish is trade down. I think right now, as it currently stands, I think it would be. I think I'll go Reese. But
Marvell Reese.
See Glenn wanting Bane as well. It's just one of those in space versus against the run plays. Like, do you want the guy against the run to be a little bit more stout, or do you want the more in space explosive guy where you can move him around a lot? I'll go Reese for now.
Reese. I like it. Mr. Sabo, great stuff as always. Thank you for coming on the show.
You got it. Bye.
Robby Sabo, ranked 13 in the Jack Straw Jet Media Power Rankings. With us there. If anyone sees any other reviews of the show or the beat, let me know. We'll continue to read it. We did the Reddit thread last week, which got a lot of fun feedback. And now we did the Jet Nation message board, which I'm going to have to start checking out the Jet Nation message board a little more. That is not in my daily Jet viewing habit. You know, I check different sites, listen to different podcasts, watch all the YouTube stuff, read JetX every day. I'm going to have to add the Jet Nation board to the arsenal. All right, last chance to get in on the show. We got open phone lines. We also have the raffle coming up. For those tuning in late, you could still enter today, right now, to win a Garrett Wilson signed helmet, Darrell Rivas signed helmet, and a Chad Pennington signed helmet. Make sure you do so soon because I'm counting the names for the week, and we'll spin the wheel. And when you enter for this show only, you're entered in the weekly raffle for next week. It's 2 for 1 on raffle day. Curtis Martin signed helmet and Joe Namath signed helmet are the top prizes for next week. I locked in a Namath helmet on the show. Boss Girl says, Jake, a few days ago you were mentioned positively on Evan and Tiki. Really? How come no one told me? That's good to know. I've known Evan and Tiki forever, so that's cool. Obviously, you know, Evan and I both have Joe every Monday after Jet games. We'll get Evan on the show again. Evan's been on with us in the past, but it's been a while because when he moved to afternoons, with the schedule, it was impossible to get Evan on because he was always on air during our second show and he was getting ready for his first show when I'd be live at 10 a.m. So we'll get Evan Roberts on this offseason for sure. Now he's 10-2 on the Fan. Tank for ties. So we could ignore statistics on Bane's arm length, but make an exception for the number of starts for a potential franchise quarterback. I mean, it's not the same thing, though. We don't even know what Bane's arm length is, by the way, people. Can we stop with that? We know how many starts Ty Simpson made. That you can't dispute that. The evidence is factual that Ty Simpson in his college career has made 15 career starts. The evidence is factual that among quarterbacks over the last 15 years who entered the NFL with 20 or fewer starts and were drafted in the first round, I think only one we could say was a definitive hit, and that was Cam Newton in 2011. Ryan Tannehill, Mitch Trubisky, Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, Trey Lance, Anthony Richardson are the other ones. So I don't think it's the same thing, personally. All right, last chance to get in. Let's take a call from a man that we love, we respect, and many of us, I would say, fear around these parts. It's time. Gator says, I think Big Cho might need an intro. Big Cho.
Yeah, it's nice. I like my recliner. No, I just called to check in. Big Cho. I don't like all those wrinkles on my head. I don't have that many wrinkles. We're talking about Big Cho. My implants are coming in 3 months.
The Kardashian ones?
Put the jet gear on for you. Been running some errands early. Came home just chilling. Big Cho. Jake.
Big Cho.
How you doing, Big Daddy?
We're talking about Big Cho.
Are you an Indiana fan, Big Cho?
There's a story behind this. The guy that's taking me to my doctor's appointment at 2:00 is from Indiana, and he's a big Indiana fan, so I thought I'd wear some Indiana gear for him.
Big Cho.
You kind of remind me of Kurt Signetti, Big Cho.
Yeah, I wish I had his money. That'll work. Hey, my phone had been going in and out during the show. I didn't get a chance to hear you mention my who did my memberships go to? I did 5 today.
Well, I don't know because it happened a while ago, so you're gonna have to listen back and when I shouted it out and I announced it then.
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes from being backstage to going into the live chat, trying to do some membership, gifting, sometimes takes you out from backstage and pauses a live thing. It just messes it up big time. Big Joe. See what I'm saying?
Big Joe.
I have a question for you, Jake. Jake, you there? Big Joe. Jake, you there? Big Joe.
Yes, Big Joe?
I have a question. What is it going to take, or is it possible for us to get the number 1 pick and get Mendoza?
Well, anything's possible.
I mean, what will we have to give up to get him realistically in your mind?
Would you sacrifice one of your children, Big Joe?
We're talking about Big Joe.
Definitely not.
I don't think it's possible then.
So you think the Raiders won't listen to anything?
Not unless one of your children is in the deal.
Big Joe.
Why you say that, Jay?
Just feels unlikely.
Well, what if you gave up some of your draft picks this draft?
No children?
No children. I'm just thinking a lot of people aren't thinking about that. They're just concentrating on the number 2 pick and the number, what do we have, 16 or 15?
16.
16. 33 and 44, correct?
Correct.
Now, why not put a package together to get the number 1 pick?
How many picks are you offering? And children?
I'm not offering any of my children now. Don't be fucking with my children.
Well, that's what they would probably ask for.
Big Joe. They won't be getting any of them. So, but realistically, do you think that they wouldn't consider some draft choices from the Jets? I mean, I'm not a general manager, so I wouldn't know what to offer them. But I'm thinking, maybe the 2 and I don't know, 16 for the 1. That's if you really like Mendoza.
Big Joe.
What do you think?
I don't believe the Raiders are going to trade out of that pick. I think if the Jets wanted that pick, they would have to trade at least 2 first-rounders and then some. And that feels like a lot to give up to move just 1 spot when you don't have any faith in the coach and you have 3 1s in 2027. So I'd much rather not do that and just play it out this year, see what they look like, and in all likelihood pair up our long-term quarterback with our new coach next year.
So basically, it all goes back to coaching, because I know you had brought that up before. Get the quarterback, get the coach, make the playoffs. Is that correct?
Well, I don't think you could be a successful NFL team unless you have both a strong head coach paired with a solid QB.
Well, look at the quarterbacks that had a good year this year and didn't do so hot the year before, but they got a new coach. Caleb Williams. That's one. Would you agree with that?
I would.
Coaching. What about Lawrence doing better this year because of his new coach? Big Joe! Would you agree with that one?
Big Joe.
I would.
Who else is having a good year? You got a new coach in New England. Bo Nix is having a better year than he did last year, correct? I mean, Drake May. My
We're
bad.
talking about Big Joe.
Drake May.
Yes.
Okay, so that's coaching again. Then you got Sean Payton in Denver. And Bo Nix is doing well, other than breaking his ankle. That goes to coaching.
Yankees Rock writes in, this guy calls in, and it feels like the show comes to a complete standstill.
Then don't listen.
Big Joe.
I'm just giving you my opinion. Jake, you could help with the flow as well if you would engage.
We're talking about Big Joe.
I'm locked in, Big Joe.
No, you're not. You're too busy playing the Big Show stuff and having too much dead air time in between my comments, and you're not engaging in the talk. That's why it seems like it comes to a dead end.
I respond to you, and then you respond. We go back and forth, Big Joe.
I don't know. It seems like it's some pausing in between.
Big Joe.
You know, I'm not sure why that guy would put that in the chat. What's your opinion?
I think he's just voicing his opinion.
Right.
Veteran Jet fan says, Cho, you called in. It's up to you to engage with Jake.
I am engaging with you, but when it comes down to hearing Big Cho 40 or 50,000 times and not getting any feedback, what am I supposed to do? I mean, I've been trying to give you feedback about how the coaching and the quarterback play is related, and how that's why I think that the Jets is not going to take a stab at Mendoza because they're worried that Glenn is going to fuck them up.
Big Joe.
Agreed. It is coaching.
Right. Well, then why didn't they get rid of his ass?
He gives great hugs.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Yeah, it don't make no sense, man. If you're not willing to draft people because you're afraid they're not going to be able to get coached up, then why keep the coach? Big Joe.
Well said.
I mean, I coach, so if I couldn't coach, they wouldn't keep me around.
Peter Castro says, Big Joe making salient points.
I mean, think about that for a minute. Me coaching college basketball for over 30 years, if I couldn't coach, I wouldn't be kept around.
We're talking about Big Joe.
So why is Glenn being kept around?
Effie Johnson.
Well, what does he know? He's too busy spending, $250 million on his effing soccer team?
Big Joe.
Don't get me started with that guy. I mean, you got all these really good candidates coming out that could be good head coaches. You got 10 openings, now it's 8. Should be 9 with the Jets. And there's no really right or wrong answer or avenue to figure out if you're going to get a good candidate next year. Just because you decide to get rid of Glenn in the middle of the year or after the season. Big Joe!
It's well said, Big Joe.
There's going to be a good enough candidate to take over the Jets as there might be this year. So why not do it now?
Spencer Green wants to know your opinion on the basketball player AJ DeBansta from BYU.
Oh, he's the one and done guy, man. He's a stud.
We're talking about Big Joe.
That guy can play, score at all three levels, athletic, jump, defend. You name it, he can do it.
Big Joe.
Possibility of being the number one pick in the draft.
Hey, Oregon Jets would like you to stop talking so fast.
Stop talking so fast. I don't talk fast. You know who talks fast is your boy Mad Max.
Well, he's on drugs.
Yeah, well, I'm not on drugs.
Big Joe.
No more painkillers?
No, I'm on a few of those still, but
Wouldn't that be drugs?
yeah, that's true.
So you are on drugs.
Yeah, as needed.
We're talking about Big Joe.
I would say as needed.
Cincy Matt says, Cho, Jake's too afraid to tell you to stop calling in, so he's doing you dirty.
What do you say about that?
I don't believe that is true.
I mean, I'm a grown man. If somebody doesn't want me to call in, I got thick skin. You can let me know.
I think Cincy Matt's trying to stir the pot.
Big Joe.
Yeah, I think he might be.
Peter Castro says, Cho, are you on crack?
No, I'm not on crack. Or is he? Is he on crack?
He might be.
What else is the chat saying about me?
Veteran Jet fan says, imagine Cho reading sponsorship spots on the air.
I was on the air for 3 years, so I mean, I can do it. I was on WFNZ in Charlotte for 3 years, sports radio on the weekends. Had to do spots. So, not sure what they're talking about.
Can we do a little role play, Big Cho?
What do you want to know?
Repeat after me. This portion of the Big Cho Show.
This portion of the Big Cho Show
is brought to you by Blue Chew.
Is brought to you by who?
Blue Chew.
Blue Chew.
Where it goes from 6 to midnight anytime you want it.
Where it goes from 6 to midnight anytime you want it. Big Cho.
You sound like a real pro, Big Cho.
Isn't that the ED pill?
That is. Also known as boner pills in the industry.
Boner pills? Oh, okay. Well, I'm 60. I'm still good to go, so I wouldn't know much about boner pills.
Really?
Correct. Big Joe. That would be correct.
Calm your freaky down.
Jake, I want to know why you've calmed down as far as your ranting on Glenn. Why is that? Is it because it's getting close to the draft? Are you changing your mind? Or what?
Well, he's coming back, so I feel like if I scream every day he should be fired, we'd be wasting our time.
Are you a told you so guy?
Can you expand on what that means, Big Joe?
That means when he goes 1-7 next year and gets fired, you can say, "I told you so."
Well, when that happens and he gets fired, it will be the most obvious thing to happen in quite some time. So I will definitely bring that up.
And then what do?
We wait till the offseason to hopefully hire a real coach and root for every loss after that to get the top pick in the draft and take a quarterback.
So in other words, you just have another wasted year. I don't know how much I paid for Sunday ticket to watch the freaking Jets play every weekend. $200.
It'd be Cho over.
Big Joe.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Chover, if you will.
How long do we need to hang in there? I mean, I'm gonna hang in there. I'm in it for the long haul. As long as I keep saving up money, I'm going to come back up for the Asmaniac meetup for the Jets game again next year if you have one, if I'm so blessed to be able to go. So I'm not giving up on the team or anything. I'm just real frustrated because I was a Glenn guy. I wanted Glenn. I thought he would do a good job. They hyped him up as this big-time savior, defensive guy coming from the Lions, the way they built the program, et cetera, et cetera. And now he hasn't done anything. Jets, Jets. I'm backing down on that a little bit. I'm disappointed. I wanted him. It's not panning out. Look at New England. They got rid of their coach after 1 year. And look what they got. Now they're gonna be in the Super Bowl.
Genergy writes in, Spicy Jake forever. Genergy, you're in the raffle for 2.
What's she say?
Spicy Jake forever.
Spicy Jake?
Spicy Cho.
Spicy Cho. Oh.
Big Joe.
Hey, Big Joe, you ready for one last role play?
Yeah, what you got?
This portion of the Big Cho Show.
This portion of the Big Cho Show
is brought to you by Blue Chew.
Is brought to you by Blue Chew.
Where it stays 6 to midnight in your pants all the time.
Where it stays 6 to midnight in your pants all the time. Calm your freaky down.
Big Cho, you're a pro's pro. Well done. Papa Jet joined the raffle during that fun.
Big Cho.
He's in for 1. All right, last chance here, folks. We do have a weekly raffle coming up. If you want to win a signed Garrett Wilson helmet, a signed Darrelle Revis helmet, or a signed Chad Pennington helmet, this is your last call. Spencer Green says, is Nashville the Asman meetup this year? It might be, Spencer. It will depend on the date for that game. There's more intrigue for that game now that Bob Saleh is the coach of the Titans. I would prefer Nashville to be early in the year because at least it'd be a winnable game for the Jets. We'd have hope. By the way, what we just did with Big Cho there, that's what we call coaching, Aaron Glenn, right? Big Cho couldn't get through the read the first time we did it for Blue Chew. The second time, he nailed it. That's what coaching looks like.
Coaching. It's coaching. Because he can do it. It's just coaching. That's all it is.
That's all it is. Big Cho could do it. Might need to clip that and send it to Blue Chew and see if they want to sponsor the show. Nicoy James wrote in, where's Beast? Oh, you want Beast? We'll give you Beast.
You tell me how crazy I am. I just took 4 chair headshots. Can we just sponsor Tylenol maybe because we're gonna have some big headaches this year? Sponsors. Can we also sponsor some other products like maybe let's see, ibuprofen and Motrin, Advil, maybe some Bear. Because it's gonna be those headaches this year. Or you could just get the jackhammer and go. Now, Jake, you hear those every day, don't you? Those jackhammers, don't you?
Oh, I hear it.
You know, the one that yeah, that's them doing the streets. Yeah, fixing it. Yeah, fixing up the streets. But I mean, let's look at the draft picks. 1, 16, and 2 other numbers. The first one, we get Mendoza. Second one, who's that guy with the little bit of the Darth Vader mask? Is that Bane with the Darth Vader mask on him?
Well, it's a Bane mask.
It looks well, yeah, that looks like a halfway of a Darth Vader almost. Except
Are you not familiar with Bane, Beast? You're not a Batman fan?
I couldn't watch Batman when I was a kid. Never got into Batman. I got into I'll give you a hint. I'm old school with certain things. Like I never got into Batman. I only got into like the Quantum Leap, Lost in Space, even Invaders, the 1950 TV show Invaders. It's very, very science fiction like sci-fi. But if they get this guy, he looks pretty.
Beast. You got to watch the Dark Knight trilogy, man. You'll love it. It's an excellent franchise. That's Bane from the Dark Knight Rises film, played by Tom Hardy.
I'm not a Batman guy. I mean,
how could you not be a Batman guy?
I'm more into the science fiction stuff like Terminator, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, even They Live, the movie They Live, John Carpenter's Vampires, even Shaolin Soccer, Bruce Lee, Jet Li, even Once Upon a Time in China. These are movies I can live for because this is the kind of attitude that I like. I like something with fight, and I like something with an attitude. Even sports movies give me a good kick in the ass once in a while. But I'm not going to worry about that right now because are we ready for that? Are we ready for the draft?
Well, the draft's in April, so I'm not ready for it yet.
Not the draft. I meant the wheel.
Not yet.
But I'm going to tell you this. We got plenty of time. We got 3 months to do all this. After the Super Bowl, the free agent market will be wide open.
Thank you, Beast. All right, home stretch here. Philly Noodles is next. Hello, Philly.
Yo, Beast is funny, man.
Got to watch Dark Knight.
Yeah, that's crazy. To not have seen that is absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, talk about characters. You know, he's got to relate to somebody in that whole. Yeah, come on, man.
Reminds me of the Joker.
Yeah, for sure. Yo, I hate to be that person, but I can be a little bit of a petty king about certain things in the world, and obviously everybody will hinder towards my Aaron Rodgers petty, but I'm past that. You know, we're moving on. Let's get. I'd like someone to. Where's the Woody scandal? There's got to be something down there. That's why I think Jaime is still around. Like he's got to know some real wild stuff.
They're protecting him because he knows where the skeletons are.
Saying, man, why is Jaime still there? We need to understand that Jaime is the key to getting a real VP president of football operations in that building. That's what I think it is. Somebody uncovered some sleuth. You got sleuths. I know, you got to know somebody.
Look, I have my best people right now trying to get us our coach in 2027. All right. Team 69. The 69 team is working hard on Mike Tomlinson.
Look, we got Tomlinson. He ain't getting out of here. Get comfortable, pal, because as soon as Woody wakes up, he's going to make you a rich man.
Hopefully they learn that we want Mike Tomlin and not Mike Tomlinson, but we'll get
there. I mean, you know what I mean? We need somebody to Scooby-Doo something out of there. Like, pull the hat off of Jaime. There's something there, man. There's got to be a Woody scandal. You know what I mean? Maybe Big Cho can align his Blue Chew moment there. Maybe Woody gets the Woody from the Blue Chew. He just sends a picture out the wrong way. He gets real brick, pun intended. Something bad happens. You know what I mean? Because, listen, if he can't James Dolan the situation, because James Dolan's that was a pass down situation. And there's real, the history is crazy with the Knicks in the city. There's something, get him a dirty jersey situation. You know what I mean? Come on, dirty jersey. Step out. find something dirty down there in those waters, muddy it up. You know, he's a guy. He's in charge of medicine. There's got to be something somewhere. Jesus, like figure something out, because until they change that VP situation and they really get a brain in there, Curtis Martin didn't happen, which we all thought was going to for some reason, but of course that failed. Something's got to give, man. I don't know. You know what I mean? If that don't happen, 2027, like we're all coming to the fruition. We'll have a new coach, 3 picks.
The funniest thing is, even the people that try to defend Glenn, their positive spin is, yeah, we'll get a new coach in 2027 and there'll be less openings than right now. Like, that's how pathetic the Glenn bootlickers are at this point, that they've resigned to the fact that we're going to suck no matter what. So let's just, we'll be okay because 2027 we can get a new coach. That's how pathetic it is being a fan of this team right now, that our optimistic perspective is we could get a new coach a year from now.
You know what, Jake? I think if Tomlin was to make himself available, there could be real considerations. Obviously, everyone else who has an opening, would say the same, but I think there would be legit consideration because he would probably be, he'd bring a whole team in. He'd bring everybody in. I don't even think he would keep Muji around unless Muji kills this draft. Really, if Muji kills the draft, obviously you can move forward from Aaron Glenn. But to me, Tomlin and Harbaugh were the big fish where I would have said, yeah, punt him. You got to go, Glenn. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And Tomlin is not going to be a part of this search this year. So imagine it lands us Tomlin and it lands us success, whatever. It'll be the 1 year we need. It's like, you deal with that one really ugly, terrible situation you were with a girl. Like, you were like, damn, I really was with that person. You know what I mean? And then you're like, well, I needed that bump in the road to get me where I was going. The braces. You know what I mean? You dealt with a girl with braces or something? Or rough situations, something like that.
The Philly, good call. The bottom line is, if you want Mike Tomlin, you got to give him full control, let him bring in his personnel guy, and you got to have an opportunity to get a quarterback because he's not going to take a job unless there's a quarterback in place or there's a quarterback path in place. What I mean by that is, it didn't work out, but Urban Meyer took the Jaguars job solely because they were going to get Trevor Lawrence. Right? Jim Harbaugh took the Chargers job because Justin Herbert was there. Mike Vrabel, in part, took the Patriots job because he believed in Drake May. Maybe the Jets can take a quarterback this year that somehow surprises us and could be the guy, but in all likelihood, their path to a quarterback is one of the 3 ones in 27 and hopefully a much better quarterback class. And hopefully they build the roster this offseason. You got 4 picks in the top 44 to find 4 impact starters right away, to go with some players that I think are good that are on this team, most notably the 2 tackles and Garrett Wilson. And you got to just hope that you're an attractive job a year from now. And by the way, even if you're not an attractive job, all right, did we know Dave Canales was a good coach when he was hired, or Liam Cohen when he was hired? Like, we have revisionist history now. Oh, who would take the job? There's guys out there, man. Andy Reid was a quarterback coach before Philly hired him. You got to find good coaches. The problem is we keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And what will help the Jets, I know it's going to suck in the short term, but right now, at a press conference at the Giants facility, John Harbaugh is being introduced. And I am telling you, people, it will bother Woody Johnson to no end when the Giants are good this year and the Jets are god-awful.
I know the challenges. I understand the expectations. I know the fans are hungry for a winner. We're here with one mission: to earn the right to be called the world champions in New York. I know the challenge.
I mean, that's a coach. That is a coach. And we're sticking with a guy who has no idea what he's doing. But hey, trust me, bro.
And I know it's hard to say. Just trust me, have faith in what we're doing.
Again, this will ultimately be the needle mover for Woody. He might finally say, I give up. I cannot do this. Mike Tomlin, what do you want? Run the franchise, get us back to respectability. Because I don't know if Harbaugh is going to win a Super Bowl with the Giants. It's hard to do that, right? No head coach has ever won 2 Super Bowls with 2 different franchises. Doesn't mean it can't ever happen, though. Someone's got to be the first. But the Giants are back to being respectable. They're not. A bad year for Harbaugh was 8-9. He'll hire a good staff. He'll hold guys accountable. But part of the reason the Giant job was attractive is because Dart played well as a rookie. But a year ago at this time, Dart wasn't even a first-round pick. So, again, if Muji and Glenn are good at their jobs, Find a path to get respectable quarterback play. If they can't, they're not going to be here. Or certainly Glenn won't be here. And maybe Muji's sticking around because it's like Joe Shane sticking around, but he has no say. The real proven head coach, if you get that guy, would have all the sway, the leeway. But again, I'm telling you, Harbaugh going to the Giants is a good thing. Let the Giants be good, get all the attention, get back on track. And that's it. I'll give you one more from this Harbaugh presser before we get to our raffle and one last call before that. Again, hopefully Woody is stewing watching this because that's our only hope as Jeff fans.
And for that,
Here's Harbaugh.
nothing will be taken for granted. It will always, always be all about the team. The team, the team, the team. Thanks, Dad, for that. It'll always be about that. Now it's time to go to work.
Must be nice. Must be nice. DD Dot is triggered by my opinion that the Jets are bad with Aaron Glenn. Says, go back to Houston with your failed attempt to leave the Jet fan base when you found out without talking about the Jets. I don't even know what you're talking about. I do know this. You, sir, lack brain cells. Farewell.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
See ya. Oh, so this guy, Thomas Campbell. Jake, it's getting hard to listen to. Jake is getting hard to listen to his bullshit daily, guys. Again, this show is free. If you don't like it, you do not have to listen to it. If you want to hear the truth about the shitty Jets, then you can listen. If you don't, you can go find a different show. Until then, we'll see you later.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
Oh, yeah. All right, this will be our last call before we spin the Wheel of Champions 3 times for the Pennington sign helmet, Revis sign helmet, Garrett Wilson sign helmet. If you want in, this is last call for the weekly raffle. Ladies and gentlemen, Rich will close us out today. Hello, Rich.
Hey, man. Don't even remember what I was going to talk about when you showed that clip. Horrible, man. Team. What did we get? We got a drum majorette telling us what a great coach he was and what a great visionary he was. Now he was going to make guys all pros because the other coaches sucked before he's ever done anything in the league. And like the guy you had before, the guy with the Indiana on his jersey, saying he thought Glenn was going to be a good coach. You know, I'm on record, was against him from day one because I did fucking research. His defense didn't do good in Detroit, like the guy said. He wasn't part of that. The only thing he was a part of was 3 shitty defenses, and then he got good in the last year when Gibbs went wild. And he had teams having to throw, so he was able to have a lot of turnovers. People don't pay attention anymore. They just listen to the chyrons at the bottom and the one-liners. Giants. And 8 and 9, Jake, you're right. You know what 8 and 9 does you? It makes you in playoff contention up to week 15, 16, and 17. So the fans are engaged with their media. They're engaged at their tailgates. They're engaged at the water cooler. They're engaged with renewing season tickets because they remember having a fun season because they were in the hunt late, right to the end. And that's what we don't get anymore. That's the biggest thing that hurts me, is not being able to have fun late into the season. I mean, Jesus Christ, Halloween's here, and draft order.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. You're 1,000% right. And again, when you're 8-9, that'd be more wins than the Jets have had in a decade in the season.
Yeah. And
here's how you know you're striking a nerve, because Spencer Green, who is the biggest Glenn bootlicking shill I've ever seen, says 8-9 makes you jack shit. The fact you guys want to go 8-9 is ridiculous. Why do that? Hell, 3-14 is better and you get draft picks. Right, because all these draft picks have really worked out for the Jets the last 10 years when they failed to win more than 7 games. The point is not to go 8-9, is that 8-9 would at least show you progress. At least show you that you're right there. You have talent, you have coaching. It could be fixed. When you
fan spirits a little bit.
We'd have a season instead of having to just do the woe is me miserable stuff on Columbus Day every year.
Hey, I'm not going to get into the Vegas is going to keep him, but I do think we could get Mendoza. The question is I don't know if he's worth throwing, both, obviously you'd have to give both number ones, but I don't think
that's all I would give. I would not trade any of my ones in 2027.
That's the point I was just going to get to, is that you could get them. I mean, you could throw, 2 number ones this year and 2 number ones in 2027, and they'd probably jump on it. But I don't, it doesn't smell right to me. He looks great, but I don't even feel the same way about him that I felt about Drake May. I thought Drake May is better. I think Drake May is much better than Mendoza. I'll let you get on with your show. The only thing I was wondering, you made about the Dark Knight and the Beast. Maybe he doesn't like the Dark Knight because he's having trouble filling the Dark Knight's cod piece.
I'll tell you what, Beast should watch The Dark Knight because it's one of the greatest movies of all time. And I'm telling you, there's some similarities between Beast and the Joker character played by Heath Ledger.
Yeah. He probably doesn't know what a cod piece is, and so he wouldn't get the pun. But
anyway, good call, Rich. I appreciate you. You got to watch Dark Knight, Beast. It is a tremendous program. Tremendous trilogy. Spencer Green with a super chat. Beast needs Jake to land a treadmill/walking pad sponsorship. I'd love that. I use the walking pad every day in my apartment. I would love that. Hey, reminder, next week we are at the Senior Bowl. We have put the following interview request in, Jet fans. David Bailey, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Dominic Orange, AJ Halusi, Jacob Rodriguez, Lee Hunter, Garrett Nussmeyer, Elijah Surratt, Casey Concepcion, Jacoby Lane, Parker Brailsford, Cole Payton, and Sawyer Robertson. So 3 of the quarterbacks that could be in play for the Jets we've requested. We'll have live interviews next week on the show, recaps of all the practices. Dom C and Dylan will be frequent guests on the show. Jets Johnny, of course, not understanding the context of what Rich was saying. Says 8-9 means you didn't make the playoffs, nothing else. He's saying it's been so bad, 8-9 would be real improvement. You'd be headed in the right direction. That's the point. You actually would have a season. Tired of just being irrelevant all the time. Who cares where you're picking? Astral is off the chain, says, Lord, please help this team get better soon. I feel like we've been praying to the football gods for a while. Congrats to Astro, though. He won a Legends jersey in a raffle the other day. And he went with, I think, Curtis Martin. But I have to check. He's in for 5. Astro, thank you. Let me put you down in the raffle. Hollywood Rio with a $20 super chat. He's getting in at the buzzer here. I'm literally typing out the remaining names. Thank you, Hollywood Rio. Tomlin and Arch 2027. Put me in, Jake. March for Arch. If you have a chance to get Arch Manning, Mike Tomlin will consider your job. 100%. We got the 33rd team on it.
Look, we got Tomlinson. He ain't getting out of here. Get comfortable, pal, because as soon as Woody wakes up, he's going to make you a rich man.
We can only hope. All right. It is almost time for the raffle. Earlier, we had author Jack Straw on to break down his Jets media power rankings. Here's more from Jack.
Regarding the content treadmill streamers, this is where Matt O'Leary, Boy Green, Jets Central, Jets Media, and many others all live. Different logos, same product. They post non-stop and say nothing. Every day is a new reaction, a new thought, a new emergency, and you finish it realizing you didn't learn a single thing. It's volume without information. Still the same treadmill. Video from my car about nothing, just flavored with optimism / panic / whatever the consensus feeling is at the time of recording.
Damn, Jack is angry.
Asman is a radicalizer. He takes a fan who's mildly annoyed and turns them into a foaming at the mouth lunatic for 3 hours, then reads SuperChats about it. He doesn't cover the Jets, he covers the argument about the Jets. And he's basically a rage DJ. He doesn't create the anger, he just remixes it louder and sells $2 SuperChats.
Strong from Jack. Real strong. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of strong, it's time to give away 3 signed Jets items. Wilson helmet, Revis helmet, Pennington helmet. But right now, we check in with the master of raffle ceremony.
Hello, everybody. The Macho Man is in the house. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come to go get those 3 raffling winning circle rounds. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Jake Asman 2026 Wheel of Champions. And don't you know what I'm saying? It's time to go spin it. Step into a Slim Jim. Ooh, yeah. Now you dig it.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Here we go, folks. Weekly raffle. Oh, Beast is still on. There we go. Okay, good job, Beast. I had one more I had to put in. I was typing quickly to put it in. Stone Cold Swagger in for 2. I got you down. Quick super chats. Patrick says, if you had to draft a QB this year, who? I mean, if I can get Ty Simpson in the 2nd round, I'd take a chance on him. I don't know if that answers your question. I'm not doing it at 2 or 16 personally, though. I don't believe in this coaching staff. I'd rather wait a year because Aaron Glenn will be fired. Dan says, I hope the Colts and Cowboys go 2-15 next year. Amen. I will help the Jets get top picks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's spin the wheel. Big thank you to everyone who was entered over the last week. As a reminder, if you win, email me your name and address, asmanjake@gmail.com, so we know where to send your prizes to. This is everyone who sent in a super chat that qualified or a gifted membership. Ladies and gentlemen, we spin the Wheel of Champions right now. Prize number 1 is a Garrett Wilson autographed helmet. The winner is Mace B. Mace B, congratulations. Winner number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Carlos, your super chat came in late. You are the first to be entered in the daily raffle this afternoon. We'll make it happen for you, Carlos. I'm making a special note for you. You're probably watching the show on delay. All right, Carlos, thank you. Jets should trade down. I would not take a quarterback in the 1st. I agree. I just think, again, it's easy to say trade down. Who's trading up? All right, here we go. Revis signed helmet, prize 2. The winner is Sean Barbo. Sean Barbo is your winner. Congratulations to Sean, longtime supporter of the show. He is our 2nd winner today in the weekly raffle. One last winner. We ready for this? Ladies and gentlemen, Chad Pennington signed helmet, the final prize. The winner is Sean Barber. Sean Barber. Congratulations to Sean. I appreciate you, Sean. You are the winner. I'm going to do another winner right now. Special fourth winner. Jets jersey. That's right. Surprise, surprise. We need a morale boost. You pick what you want. Actually, you know what? A second. I think Sean just won twice. I'm checking my notes here. The ChatGPT counted Sean, Barbo, and Barber. I guess there was a typing error. Okay, we're going to spin it again. Hold on. You can't win twice. So, Sean, you won the Revis helmet, which means we're going to do the Chad helmet, and I'll still do a jersey giveaway as well. So, I'm still adding a prize, but Sean, Barber, and Barbo are actually twice. So, stand by. Let's spin it again then. So, Sean, you're going to win the Revis helmet. So, email me about that. You were in twice. I was like, wait a second. Sean, Barbo, and Barber, same person. Can't win twice. So, Sean, you win. And now let's spin it again for the Chad helmet, and then we'll do another prize for the jersey. So here we go. Winner 3 is the Chad Pennington helmet. We spin it right now. Ted Ruggiero. Ted, congratulations. Ted's been a longtime supporter, joined the Patreon not that long ago, so congrats. And special fourth place winner, another Jets jersey, up for grabs. Here we go. You pick the player you wanted in of Namath, Klecko, Revis, Curtis Martin, Crepet, Mangold, or Keyshawn Johnson. The winner is Big Cho. How about that? Big Cho wins a jersey. Love it, Big Cho. We know Big Cho loves himself some jerseys. So there you go. 4 winners. Again, Mace B, Sean, Ted, and Big Cho. Winners in our weekly raffle series. Let's go.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Hugs from Woody for our winners. Congratulations to our winners. Thank you to everyone for your support. We'll be back this afternoon with a live show with Joe Blowett. Film breakdowns of draft prospects getting underway. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, you guys are the best. Thanks for the support. We're all in this together throughout the offseason. I'll leave you guys with a short clip. Sit back and enjoy it. And as always, JETS, 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 Jets.
Is Brock Purdy going to run for his life on the opener? Yeah! He's going to die. Let's go. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go.
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.